Hey guys, can people hear me? Okay, so today we're going to be just chilling out, building some minis, talking about stuff to come. Let's start with the big bad himself. Might actually be an idea if I grab the manual for all these. Not that anyone's watching. So, how is everyone today then? Everyone doing good? Can people hear me? Is there any audio coming across? Hey buddy, how's it going, man? Can you hear me all right? All right. How are things on this morning? Or afternoon, in fact. It's my morning. No, this is the Radakar the Wolf from the Cursed City box set. That Lord of Rats or King of Rats doesn't come out for a little while yet from Games Workshop, but I will probably pick him up along with most of the other vampire minis because they all look really sick. Let's try and adjust this so it's a bit more. That's a bit better. That snip. So, how many other people have actually bought Cursed City and are picking up their copies today or whenever they can get a chance? And also on that same breath, are you looking forward to getting to play it when we can all see each other again? Especially here in the UK when we get our lockdown in the next, what is it? We get everywhere opens like Monday. We can see each other outside. Now, but meeting up in groups isn't for like another month or so yet. Tell me about it. I crave to roll dice at a table. Yeah, unfortunately, in regards to the scalping, I don't understand why the game is going to be re-released in a couple of weeks or so when Games Workshop make more copies. It seems like a fruitless endeavor. But the way you deal with it is you just don't buy them from people. If they insist they want to sell them for extortionately inflated prices, don't buy it. Just ignore them. Yeah, yeah, I understand that digital dice do betray you. It's not quite like when real dice betray you. You can literally yeet them across across your room. So, what are people working on this morning? Are you working on like you building your cursed city? Or are you just chilling out and listening to my soothing voice? Or are you painting? You know, what's people up to? Ah, sweet. Hopefully at some point I'll get to play the tabletop version of that. The what's it, Cyberpunk Red? That'd be pretty sweet. Which, in mentioning, is a perfect segue. What was it? Early last year, mid last year? Mantic Games did a Kickstarter for the Hellboy roleplay game, and I managed to snag myself a Kickstarter deal on that, and my digital copies of everything turned up yesterday. So anyone else who kickstarted it would have got all their digital gear. So now I have a copy of the core rulebook, the DM screen, and the field guide, I want to say. I think it's the collection of short stories. All based around the 5e setting, or set of rules. So yeah, so at some point, probably after this, gonna have a nice little sit down and have a read of all of that. You never know, there might be some future videos on Hellboy. Let me know what you guys think about that, if that's something you'd be interested in. Yes, indeed, very exciting times. Did a brief read through yesterday at work, or this morning, last night, depends on your time frame, I guess. And yeah, like some of the stuff in there, pretty cool. Quite look forward to reading the rest of it and maybe doing some stuff on that. Okay. Just got a couple more bits of this guy, then we can actually put him together. In regards to things that are coming up in the future, a lot of people want to see this played, so that'll happen at some point when we're allowed to. That's the only thing that's really stopping it from happening, apart from the fact that I still need to get this built in paint. getting this built-in paint would be nice. Well, I will be. I think the big test for me when I get around to reading the book will be to just making a bunch of agents to see how it all works together. What I really can't wait for is when I get my physical copy of that, because it's got shiny math rocks that make the clicky clack sound. But apart from that, one of the things that's coming up on the painting block is this guy. So you would have seen me build the base the other day, or paint the base the other day. The gold pile. This big bad boy is from Steamforge Games, their Epic Encounters line. This one was bought for me as a gift, and I think he's definitely going to need some paint at some point soon. I'm kind of just putting it off. He's quite imposing mini, I think. I'm going to try and do some more unboxing stuff. So if there's any products people want to see in the future, let me know, and I'll see if I can talk to my people, see if I can get something sorted out. So where have we got? Where is everyone from? What's going on with everyone today? Yeah, he's probably one of the bigger dragons I own. I own a lot of dragons. Have it not be said that I don't like dragons. Anyone that's played D&D with me knows that I've got all the dragons. Yeah, I know exactly how you feel with that. What I usually find worked best for me was literally just pestering them, phoning up the office, harassing them. So, how do they say to build this guy? They say that. Okay. So what I am going to do, I'm going to cut away those pegs, because they don't make it fit properly. There we go. Just a little nub. It's getting there. These push fit ones are a little bit finicky. But fortunately, Games Workshop have really got their game unlocked when it comes to these hiding joins and stuff like that. My favourite is by far Brutok the Corpse Eater, which in fact I'll build next because he's the man. I'm not going to stick these guys to their bases. I'm just going to push them in because I'm going to make custom bases for these using green stuff and the green stuff for rolling pins. Yeah, there we go. Radakar the Wolf, the big bad of this setting. The Scourge of Olfendorf. Alright. Let's build this man. This is the man. So, if I do end up playing with anyone on here, this is my character. I call dibs. Okay, so we are looking at so all these bits. Lots of bits, old bits. I don't know if anyone recalls, but a little while ago, I think maybe a month or so ago, it was announced that Games Workshop and Wizards of the Coast have now, without a better way to put it, have gotten into bed with each other, and they're making a card game based around the Magic the Gathering system, if anyone's noticed that. But what would be cool is if Games Workshop released their IP to WizKids along with the for the card game, but they made a 5e 40k. I can't see them doing a fantasy. It would be nice. It would be really cool to have a 5e old world. But what do you think, guys? Think that'll happen? Think that'd be cool? And at that same point, what would you want from it? What would you want to play? Obviously, I can imagine most people are going to turn around and go, "I want to be a Space Marine," and you would be completely justified in doing so. Last bit. Skaven campaign of rogues. Yeah, yeah. I could see that being a thing. Did you have a clan in mind that you'd want to be part of? So everyone wants to be Ratman. A whole orc party. That'd be pretty cool. I mean, it means that everyone has to go around and talk like this, you know. But what kind of orc would you be? Did you have a clan in mind that you'd want to be part of? You know, you were Flashgit. You were what are the clans? It's like Snake Bites, Skulls. I don't know. I haven't played with orcs in quite a while. Evil Sons. Bigger rats. Yeah, I mean that could be an interesting thing. You take the you could do it in 5e. I'd imagine you could take the whole what is that book called? The Ghost of Saltmarsh. You take their ship books. Yeah, take their ship contents. Ratman could quite easily be a reskinned Cobalt. Reskinned Cobalts, Goblins, depending on your type. Any of the small races, any race that actually has small as part of it would probably fit as well. The Cobalt might be pretty good, actually, thinking about it. Especially in the latest, when the latest supplements, the... Can't look again now. It's not that one. Or that one. Was it Icewind? Was it Icewind Dell that brought in the optional race options? Optional lineages. That'll allow you to make a pretty decent Ratman, I'm sure, being able to chop and change things. What kind of setting would you want it in? Would you want it in a like an old world kind of setting, or would you want to use the new AOS Age of Sigmar type setting? Personally, I'd be more for old world. I really prefer that setting to AOS. Not saying that there's anything wrong with AOS. I just prefer old Warhammer. Oh, and Guy from How to Be a Great GM, he released a book not too long ago. I say not too long ago. I think like early last year, on naval combat, which was pretty good actually. I got an opportunity at a convention to sit down when conventions were a thing. So long ago. Yeah, I got a chance to sit down and play a game with him running using his naval combat system that he wrote. It's pretty cool. Involves each member of the crew having a different job. So I think it was ship's medic. Yeah, I think I was a ship medic, and you have certain abilities that allow you to influence the crew and make them do things. So depending on who you are and what point of the crew, you can have them like, you know, fire all guns, or you can bolster the crew with some beer. But yeah, that was pretty cool. And Guy's a really good guy. He's a really pleasant chap to talk to. So if you don't watch his stuff, or you're in the market for some roleplay related advice, How to Be a Great GM on YouTube, he's really cool. Hopefully we'll get some conventions coming back end of this year. I can't see anything happening until late August. I am so sorry, Sue. Yes, rum. All the rum. Rum, grog, you know, anything like that. I'm pretty sure at some point they just don't get too worried about it. I'm sure it's not gone far. Well, soon enough, people will be able to go out and drink their their rums, and I mean, I don't think you can get grog in places, but I'm sure you can find some easily substitutable. You're looking at Sue, Dave. Is she taking your rum? So for anyone joining us, I am building Brutok Corpse Eater from the Games Workshop's new Curse City Warhammer Quest game. This is my favourite mini. We've already built Radikar the Wolf. Yeah, has anyone else picked this up? Are you going to pick this up? Or is everyone just gonna wait and see what happens? Or is this not your thing and you are just here to chill out and paint minis? I have a recipe for grog. Oh, yes. Tatted, ratted. It's ratted fits with our with our previous conversation, but yes, pretty sure all has the same affliction. Yeah, he's a lovely mini. He's going to take painting really nicely. Might even be a D&D game at some point, which is a great segue. That's good. Yeah, they're gorgeous. You know, Games Workshop have made some real decent minis for this. What I was going to say is these are great like roleplay minis. It makes you wonder if this is the idea that Games Workshop went with. They went, everyone likes role playing at the moment because of lockdown and everything like that. If we release a box set that has loads of cool D&D minis, is this going to be a thing that people are going to want to get? Because, you know, almost the reason why I did. Yeah, if this is your first time doing anything along these lines, like cleaning models, painting, and stuff like that, I will do a a video to go through the basics, like what you need, all that kind of stuff. So as you can see, the things I'm using, got a pair of flat cutters, snips. These ones are from Army Painter. I've had them for years now. Just a regular hobby knife. You can pick these up almost anywhere. And they replaceable blades and just some plastic glue. I prefer the ones with a little metal nozzle. They good for keeping it clean, and it also means the glue is very thin, so that it doesn't goop up any detail too easily. Oh, you're contemplating about getting it, are you, Dave? You might have to wait a little while just yet, because I'm pretty sure everywhere's out of stock, because everyone bought it up, but it will come back. What you can see me doing now is I am just taking off the little nubs from the mini to the sprue, and I'm just scraping that off with the flat of the blade, obviously being very careful. Yeah, the nozzle's cool. It does get gunked up sometimes if you leave it and the glue dries, but it's nothing a pin or, you know, if you take the nozzle out and flip it over, and then just, you know, shake it about a little bit, let the glue like soak into the end, it'll break the dry glue down and then become flow. It'll flow better. Yeah, that's it. It'll flow better. Right. So we've cleaned this guy up. Let's get rid of that. Let's grab one of the bases. Yep. Start putting them together. Alright, so that piece, and that piece. And the ideal thing for these is to dry fit them. So we're not using any glue at the moment, we are just seeing how they go together. The good thing with these, you don't have to glue them. They are all push fit minis. I am missing a piece. I did not cut his other arm off. That'll teach me for not paying attention. Quickly clean that up. Alright, there we go. So. Try that. There we go, that's them all push fit together. That's pretty badass. Yeah. Let's take them apart and let's glue them together now. You know he fits. As we were on about roleplay systems and that earlier, about do you have so as you're doing it, you can just wipe it away with a finger quickly. The earlier you catch it, the better, because this stuff just melts glue. So polycement, which is what this is, will melt the glue together and like form a type of weld, which is very difficult after the fact to clean up. You can still do it just with a sharp knife, but you might lose some detail in doing so. I hope that helps and answers the question. But yeah, as I was just about to say, what roleplay systems are people playing, if anything, at the moment? And do you have a favourite? So at the moment, I very much so enjoy 5e D&D, but I have played plenty of different systems. So at some point in the not too distant future, I'm hoping Hellboy will be one of them, which is based on the 5e system, put out by the Hellboy system is put out by Mantic Games. Now I've got the books. I'll be doing some videos on that once I've actually got a chance to sit down and have a proper read through. One thing you may notice me doing when I'm gluing these together is I just try to avoid putting any glue in any of the holes or on the actual stems themselves, because that can cause an air pocket in the actual in the hole itself. So air will get trapped between the peg and the bottom of the hole, and it becomes very difficult for it to get a solid fit. And there we go, Brutok the Corpse Eater, or is he? No, he's just Brutok Corpse Eater. He's not quite that posh to have the in his name. That's him all built. I'm really looking forward to painting this guy. He's gonna look mean, and there'll be a collection of videos, I feel, on painting these guys. Let's see, yeah, things have definitely come a long way. I mean, primarily in the last like the last 10 or so years, things have really ramped up in model production. I think it's probably just to do with a lot of these are digitally designed, whereas most things from back a few years earlier than that, everything was hand sculpted, which you can tell. I mean, hand sculpted minis are still very lovely. I have a whole plethora of hand sculpted minis. So just up on my still to do shelf, I have a bunch of horror movie character minis that are all from Z Miniatures, I believe the company is called. I'll have to double check. But yeah, I got stuff like I got Frankenstein, Creature from Black Lagoon, the Wolfman. All sorts. I even have an Elvira, because you need an Elvira in your life. Alright, so we have built the big bad, the cool big bad. What should we do next? Does anyone have a preference on something they'd like to see done next? We've got more heroes. We've got loads more bad guys. Tons more bad guys. The Steamforged Game Cats. Yeah, I need to open that box at some point and actually get on with that. For everyone else's benefit, I believe this is what Sue is on about. Yeah, Cats and Catacombs by Steamforged Games. It's a it's a 5e based game where you play as cats and dogs, going through your adventures. I did have the opportunity to play this at one point, but I just did not have the time. Work and life commitments, unfortunately, get in the way with having fun. So if we like the bad guys, let's do some more bad guys. Let's get things out of the way so I can see what I'm doing. Well, let's build the Kosagai Night Guard. These guys are big, and they have a Bardiche. So here we go. Move around to the bottom here. Yeah, I mean, Steamforged Games, some of their stuff is really good. Other things are a little bit. The detail gets very obscured in I think the plastic that they use. I think they use a PVC rather than whatever this is. I think it's PLA. But it also means that some of the detail can get obscured with their smaller prints or smaller casts. So the Critical Role minis, for instance, have a bit of a some of the detail can get obscured. It might also have something to do with the fact that they've made them in multi-parts and then stuck them together themselves. I'd prefer they just came as a box of bits and I could do it myself. So the sprues on this, they're all numbered as normal. And I think the hero ones have A and B on them, which just tells you what they are. But they're also different plastics, so it makes it very easy to determine who's the good guys and who's everyone else. But with these guys are very obvious that these are who they're supposed to be. So if I just snip them all off. When it comes to painting all of this, I already have a scheme in mind, which should be quite nice. Games Workshop, few years back, released part of their what's the game called? Shadespire Underworld, or Warhammer Underworld Shadespire. They released a box set full of skeletons called the Sepulchral Guard, who I painted up in a very cold, like kind of World of Warcraft, Wrath of the Lich King style paint scheme. So blues, whites, clean bone, that type of thing. So all that's left is just that bit. Yes. So that is how I'm going to do these guys, because the setting of the game fits quite well with that. Almost. Quickly scan, make sure I'm not missing anything. I don't think I am, but cool. For anyone that want to chuck in their 2 cents, is there any product someone would like to see in a future episode? If I can do another unboxing with my local store, is there something people want to see that I might be able to get my hands on? Or is there any particular model you want me to see me paint or talk about, or something of that ilk? It goes without saying those cats will get painted at some point. I don't know how easily it's going to be to paint them on camera, because they are very small. Really depends on your preference. I would imagine you're probably thinking of like a kind of fantasy type setting, maybe. Let me know and I'll have a quick rapid fire run off of good starter sets. Do you want fantasy or do you want sci-fi? Definitely fantasy. All right, that's cool. Well, you've got loads of options. Games Workshop still do their Age of Sigmar range, which is a very fantasy-based setting. They have starter sets, which come with their Stormcast Eternals, which are just dudes in really big armor. So lots of open, flat surfaces. You have WizKids are doing a lot more for their miniatures line, and I am aware that any companies. Okay. WizKids are really expanding their miniatures line for D&D, and are doing paint night sets, which are partnered with Vallejo Paints. Vallejo. Which there is a Red Slad one coming soon, very soon, which I'll be getting my hands on because I want the Red Slad, and it appears to be one of the better ways to get the minis. But also in this set you get your Red Slad, you get I think 12 paints and 2 brushes, and there is a link to a video done by them on how to paint it. So I'm going to get my hands on it. I might get 2 copies, or I might get it and just the mini. So I will do a following the tutorial, and then I'll probably do my own interpretation on what I think a Red Slad, how one should be painted. But that gives you that's 12 paints. You know, that's quite a lot. In regards to your other question of any companies whose figures are better than others, it's really subjective. So Games Workshop by far are probably one of the better miniature companies out there. You know, hands down, they've been doing it probably the longest, and most successfully. But it's not to say that other miniature companies don't have good minis. The WizKid stuff is great at a budget. You know, you can get one of their young dragons for £15, and they're a decent size miniature. Can I reach one? Here we go. So that's a £15 dragon. Radikar is a big single mini. I mean, there's a lot of detail in this because he's a multi-part kit. But if they were to release him on his own, I would probably say he'd be probably £25. Yeah, 25, probably the 30 mark at a push. Whereas this guy, single part, you just take him out of the box and paint him. He comes pre-primed. The newer stuff is better for the priming. I think they've changed up how they prime their minis, so you don't have to take it outside and hit with spray paint. You can just paint it straight from the box. But the new stuff they've used is a lot better. It's a lot more matte, whereas this stuff is very satiny and kind of rubbery. But you can still paint over it. I trying not to, if I can help it. Other miniature companies, you have Mantic Games. They do a whole selection of I love the dragons. Mantic Games have a whole selection of fantasy stuff. Their stuff has a lot of it's really nice stuff, but the detail isn't quite as deep and sharp, I'd say, as like Games Workshop is. But it's very good. It's also, nowhere near as expensive as what Games Workshop miniature is. Who else we got fantasy wise? There is War Machine and Hordes, which have a very magical, steampunky type vibe to them. But a lot of their miniatures are metal or resin, or a hybrid of plastic resin. And then there's loads of like little companies. There is, I think it's North Star Games or North Star Miniatures. North Star Military Figures. They are one of the main suppliers for a game called Frostgrave. And yeah, they're great multi-option type figures. So you get a box of about 20 for £25, and it'll be 20 dudes with like bodies and legs, and then a whole variety of arms, like weapons, bows, all sorts of bits and bobs. And they do like a soldier kit, a knight kit, a couple of different wizard kits. The soldier kit comes in a male and female variety. If you need gnolls for a game, they have a whole box just for gnolls and cultists and barbarians. And now they're going into space. They're doing a space one called Stargrave. But the rules for these games are put out by a company called Osprey Games. It's a very, very simple game to pick up. You need one type of dice. You just need a d20. And probably at most maybe 10 minis, like for your warband. And what else is there? Tons of options. Absolutely tons of them. Your metal mini probably required some pinning, which is where you take a drill bit, like a pin vise, small hobby drill, and you would drill into the neck and into the head, and then apply a paper clip into one, and then it just makes a peg and allows for a better hold. Box of 20. No two are ever alike. You can mix and match them so much. There's so many options. They make very decent standing minis for like Town Guard, or if you're really pushed and you don't really want a overly extravagantly looking party of adventurers. But if you're gonna, in my opinion, if you're gonna do a set of Town's Guard, pick up the is it Fireforge Games do a line of minis at the moment. Is it Fireforge Games? I think it's Fireforge Games. They do a line of minis at the moment that have what can only be described as House Stark Guard. So they all have a gambeson, the same style of shield, the same type of helmet, and they can all come with spears and shields, swords and shields. There's a set with bows. Let's have a look. What's people saying? "20 years ago, I'd have been 13, just getting into the hobby." Before that point, I was desperate to try and get into a Games Workshop store. So here in Bristol, our Games Workshop store was across the road from what was Castle Park, and it was one of the old Red stores from that era. And in their upstairs window, you could see a cardboard cutout of a giant lizard man. And I was desperate to go in there, but my parents wouldn't allow me. They would tell me that it's not the kind of shop I think it is. They were assuming I thought it was a video game store. I just seen the giant lizard man and went, no, not 12 Dave. And all I want to do was go in and check out what was this store with all these kind of cool things in the window. But it wasn't until the Mall and Crips Causeway got opened that I finally got to go into a store. And that was purely because we were there with like family friends and they couldn't remember where they parked the car. I remembered that we'd come in through that entrance next to the Games Workshop, and that's how I managed to get into my very first store. And at that point, I managed to pick up my very first mini, being a Space Marine Rhino, which, yeah, I wrecked that thing. That was that thing did not have a good life, but I've come a long way. Going back to your previous question, Sue, in regards to starting painting, that red slad set is probably one of the best ones for money. I think that's going to be in the region of £25, and that gets you a decently sized miniature and a whole selection of paints. But if you were looking to get something with a little bit more option, the Games Workshop start painting sets are fairly decent for what you get. I can't think of a price point for them, unfortunately, off the top of my head. Who else does one? Army Painter. Army Painter do a whole selection of ones for the D&D minis as well. So you can get one with, I think they do 4 types. You've got your Ultra Mega Supreme set, which comes with an owlbear, brushes, paints, etc. There is one with Dritz de Wurzen, the drow. There's one with a lich, which is the duder on the 5e Dungeon Master guide. and there's the one that I picked up, which came with Minsk and Boo, the greatest heroes of the whole realm. They are fairly decent in regards to paint quality. But do require a fair old shake before you get going. Wow. Well, the good thing with the metal miniatures, or the like lead minis, is they're still around. There's stacks and stacks of them in some places. You just need where to look. So I know Area 51 in Bristol usually get a stack of old metal minis at any given point when people are just clearing out their attic spaces. If you want some very good owlbear minis, Sue, Etsy is your friend. There are some very nice 3D printed ones on there that require very little work when you get them. I think what I might have to do at some point, excuse me, is a beginner's guide. You know, things to get, things to avoid, things you don't necessarily need. Like expensive brushes. You don't need expensive brushes. They're nice to have. But I don't buy expensive brushes. I don't see the need to. I think my brushes cost me like £12 for a pack of 10 or something like that off eBay. Not off eBay, off Amazon. It depends on what type of printer that is. If it's a a filament-based printer, which would be the one that runs on the spool with a nozzle, yes, the detail won't be there, unfortunately, for a good chunk of it, depending on the size of whatever it is you build or get printed. The bigger those things are, the more detail seems to stay. But if you're going to get miniatures printed, you really want to get a resin 3D printer or get it done with that. In fact, I've got some. I have some right here. So this is a werewolf from Bristol Independent Gaming, which I will be doing up at some point. On my last visit, I managed to pick these up. So I got a set of 3 of them. And I do like werewolves. So yeah, these all get painted up some point soon. But this is a resin printer. Hey Sean, it's going pretty good, man. How's things with you? Doing this for almost an hour and a half. Oh, well, there you go then. If you can justifiably get away with it, print all the stuff you want. Get all the toys. Who is it? Who does it? There's a 3D printer designer out there called Lord of the Prince, which has a really nice Tiamat mini. I say mini, it's like this big. Which is infinitely cheaper than buying the WizKids one that they are releasing in September, which is, I think it's got like a 3-foot wingspan. So that is like, it's like that, something like that. Maybe a bit bigger. Yeah, that's like $350. I'm really tempted. Last bit. What was everyone else's first miniature that you remember owning? So if you're just joining us, my first miniature was a Space Marine Rhino. I think the first or second edition version. It's a great set. KB, I cannot argue with the Mortal Realms and Warhammer Conquest magazines. They're great if you're just getting into the hobby or you just need to pick yourself up a whole bunch of cheap units. I'm gonna wait and see next year what they do, if they do another Mortal Realms, and I might jump on that one depending on what it's gonna contain. Because I've picked up the odd bit here and there as I see them. I don't buy like the entire shelf's worth because that's just not fair on people. But I will pick up maybe one or two depending on what it is. I have big plans for some of the sets, especially the ones that came out this year from the Nighthaunt. I couldn't tell you what the units are called, but they're like the wraiths with the like really nice long swords. Just print it out in small bits, and they'll never know. It'll just take you forever to finish. Yeah, it's a slippery slope, miniature gaming. But hey, at least you're not doing drugs, I suppose. What is it they say? Teach your kids how to play Magic the Gathering, because then they won't have money for drugs. Cool. So now we have all the bits all cleaned up. We can start putting this together. I apologise for any kind of sniffing, guys. It appears I've got a bit of a... I think I've just been worked too hard. Because I didn't get in and what was it? I got in from work 6:30 this morning, and then sat down here for about an hour trying to get this all set up ready for everyone, and then I hit the hay. Hey Tiff, I am loving your progress so far on your minis. You're doing a great job. Yeah, fantastic. Yes, but I can't wait to get back to it. You know, I need to be on that field. There's the the Lord of the Rings meme with Sam and Frodo of, "Oh, Mr. Frodo, do you remember do you remember live music?" I feel that can apply for LARPing as well. Hero Forge, love them, amazing. I own a Hero Forge mini. I don't have it because it's with my old DM from before lockdown, so I don't have him with me. It's still with him, like outside of Bristol. So I will get that back as soon as I get that back. I will post him up with some decent pictures. Yeah, Hero Forge is amazing. I've got a massive library of stuff that needs printing. It was one of the reasons I was considering getting a 3D printer, because the idea of having completely custom minis for next to nothing was too good to give up. Let's start with this one. LARP is super fun. I have been doing it myself since I was 16. So over half my life ago. But I know people have been doing it infinitely longer than me. Like one of my friends has been doing it since she was a little girl. Yeah, there is nothing beats going to an event with your friends, and just chilling out for a weekend and getting stuck in, playing your D&D character on a field in front of thousands of people. I was not 12. I had a full face, beard, and everything. It's not my fault these people were gullible and believe you. I mean, like talking about LARP is a perfect segue. Have people LARPed in chat? Have you been LARPing? Have you done any live role play? Do you cosplay? All this type of stuff. LARPing is a great way of getting over any kind of anxiety you may have. There was a beard going. You know, it might have not been as big as this one, but there was definitely something. I wouldn't say it was stubble. And if you do LARP, what system do you play? Do you play a local one? Do you play one of the bigger ones? Or did you play before the world fell apart? And do you play one that you would? Do you recommend one? Yeah, it's an amazing escape away from reality and real world problems. Yeah, that's a lot of people always tell me that they suffer with anxiety and LARPing really helps. I mean, most people suffer with some form of anxiety or another, and pretending not to be yourself, even for a weekend or an hour at a time. Thank you, Sean. I think it's impressive as well. There we go. Yeah, just being able to escape away for a weekend or an hour at a time, or however long you want to do it in the field, will make a world of difference into helping you, get through these kind of things. It's never going to stop it forever, but it definitely helps. And small local systems better than mass events. Yes, definitely. I've only ever been to one mass event on my own once. I enjoyed it because I kind of just grab hold of people and was like, you will be my friend for this weekend. Unfortunately, Dave and Sue, that's why I'm still around. I'm not letting go. But yeah, make some friends who also enjoy the things that you enjoy and hang out, do stuff. That's what this is, come to my live chat and just chill out for a couple of hours and just forget about things whilst I ramble on about stuff and build minis. Fools and Heroes. I have heard of Fools and Heroes. I've never been. That's why I've heard of it, because it is in Bristol. That is completely understandable, Mark. Hopefully, at some point, you will be able to go back to the game if you get the free time. I hope you all the best with we've taken care of your nan. My first. Yeah. My first ever event, I was 16. A friend of mine from Games Workshop, who was a member of staff back then, someone was talking about it. I think they were talking about a vampire game at the time. Being curious, I asked about it, and he showed me like a bunch of photos of the game from an event from the Lorien Trust. I think at one of the gatherings. I was like, this is my new thing. I need to do this. And I went to a convocation of guilds, which is not a big main event. It is one of the smaller, dangerous events. But I survived, and a year or so later, that character unfortunately perished due to stupidity on my account. And then but it didn't put me off. Still kept going back. Still enjoy playing. I'm building that wrong because I'm not paying attention. I'm still not paying attention. What am I doing? What am I doing? I am terribly sorry. Huzzah. Hangout. So, to answer your previous question, Dave, we have just a little bit of overspill with the plastic glue. So you could rub this off with your thumb, or you can just go in with your knife and just scrape it away. All good. All good. Right. That is both of them done. And these are big. Right. Should we carry on doing more bad guys? What's the time? I mean, I was intending on doing this for 2 hours. I'll hit the 2 hour mark and then see where we are. What do we think? Do you think we should do some more bad guys? Do you think we should do a good guy? What are people's opinions? Do a good guy. Right. Dave got in there first. We're doing a good guy. Sorry, Alex, too slow. Gotta be quicker on that keyboard. Right. Let's have a look. Yeah. I've been doing nothing but dudes so far. Let's do a female character. So we're gonna do Captain Imelda Braskov. Okay. Well, don't break anything or each other. Oh, no, you did. You are right. You did get there first. It's going to have to be a bad guy. I'm sorry, Dave. I didn't notice you. Alright. Let's do Watch Captain Helgrim. Dave may not get a bad guy, but at least he gets a skeleton. I have to try and be careful because he's got a lot of spindly bits. I don't want to accidentally break anything. Unfortunately, this guy is only 3 pieces, so it'll be nice and quick. Alright. You're on a big 32 with a slit. Aha, there it is. Alright. We've lost the camera for a second. Let's just get that back on. Are we back? Are we back? OBS says we're back. YouTube sound back. Come on, catch up. There we go. Note for future. Buy better camera. Awesome. Unfortunately, you could see me, and you could hear me, but you couldn't see any of this. None of this, the important bit. So it appears I'm regretting my decision of going with a bad guy and picking the skeleton for Dave, because this guy is spindly as hell. Like, look at that. It's just so thin and flimsy. Yeah, if people like the idea of talking about LARP events that I may have gone to, or stories I may have heard um, from other friends, let me know, and it might be something that we can possibly do sometime. Can sit here and tell stories of times long ago when people could meet up in person, be within whacking distance. That, and if you are a dungeon master or a runner of roleplay systems, would you say that this guy should have some hidden gems behind that eye patch? Like a one-eye Willy from the Goonies. So once this guy's all put together, I think the way that he fits, the only fragile part about him should be the head of the halberd. How I'm going to get around stopping that from breaking is it's going to live in a cabinet and never get touched. Just being careful, unfortunately. It's very thin. It's too difficult to pin back together. If it breaks, just use super glue if you've already painted it, because the plastic glue will melt the plastic-based paints that we use. Another thing you can do, and this requires a chunk more work, is replacing the entire halberd's haft with a equally thin brass rod. So that would involve a good chunk of work of removing the digits. You might have to just sculpt them back on, cutting off the head of the halberd, and then just putting in a piece of brass rod in there, and then that won't bend or flex or anything like that.
And in regards to varnishing, not really. Plastic miniatures don't really require varnishing that much because they're quite durable. The paint really fuses to them. I've done it with metal miniatures. I've done it with some stuff that requires it. So if you, I painted a whole bunch of Imperial Fists, which are yellow Space Marines. To get the yellow to really pop, I did a recess wash throughout the entire the entire selection of miniatures with a gloss Seraphim Sepia, or was it? No, it was a gloss Rikon Flesh Shade. And to then take that shine away, I then hit them with a matte varnish for a spray can, and that just took them straight back down to regular, and it allowed the desired effect to work. So I hope that helps. I do not varnish plastic minis. You can call me a heathen as much as you want. I don't see the point with plastic minis. They are durable enough on their own. Yeah, I mean, some things they look better with like a particular type of varnish on them. So anything that's supposed to look wet would really do with a gloss varnish. We can't see it, but up there I have a Wizard of the Coast unpainted Kraken mini that they released a few years back, and I seen it for a sensible price and just picked it up. But it's lived in its box ever since. At some point, I will I will paint it. But if I'm going to do that on the YouTubes, that'll be probably a multi-part video. Yeah, broken weapon. Depending on what it is, you could brass rod it, or you can just glue it back on. Unfortunately, if you want nice looking things like this, you just have to be careful with them. You can also do that, yeah. You can just outright convert the mini to then fit what you've broken. So with metal miniatures, you definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, need to hit them with a primer, because then it gives something for the paint to adhere to. I would never say do it, but you can paint on plastic miniatures straight from the pot without a primer. But you are cutting off your own nose to spite your face at that point. The paint will adhere, but it won't look nice because you really have to slaver it on. Yes, that is the Kraken I'm on about. It's a big old thing. Has all its tentacles and a little boat. Yeah, you can use enamel paints. You don't need to so much anymore. If you just hit them with a primer, the spray paint and the propellant will adhere to metal minis, resin minis. Resin minis you need to be careful with because you will need to clean them beforehand. So when you get your metal miniatures and you've cleaned them up and done all the like mold lines and stuff like that, you need to run them a warm bath with some soap. Just regular dish soap is fine. but it is to get all the mold release agent off the miniature. Otherwise, no paint will ever adhere to it because it's like a fine grease that allows them to pop them out of the molds. Yeah, strangely enough, one of my Sunday group, we had taken on a Kraken a short while beforehand, and it was our 1 year anniversary game. So I bought a Reaper Bones Cthulhu miniature, which I've posted on the studio Dice School Studios Facebook page. We used that as the Kraken. It beat us to death. We lost 3 members of our party in that fight. I was one of them. I have not brought that miniature home yet. It's still at Bristol Independent Gaming in the cabinet. I can't bear to look at it. Yeah, or you can hit him with some form of spirits or isopropyl alcohol. That can also work. You have to be careful that whatever you use isn't corrosive, because resin's not that strong, and it will just eat it, and then you'll end up with a puddle of goo. Yeah. Yeah, you can definitely use brush on primer. I probably used it a couple of times. I prefer rattle cans. It's just my preference. If you have your own preference, you're more than welcome to use whatever method you like, as long as you're happy with the end result. Oh yeah. Cool. Right. We clean this guy up. No. Glaring chunk of plastic right there. Yeah, slight disclaimer. Things I tell people that, this is how it's done. It's not how it's done, it's how I do it. You do your own thing. You set your own path. I've been doing this for a number of years, but I in no way am a master of it, and in no way am I going to tell you this is the only way you can do things. That just wouldn't be nice. Yeah, Halford spray. I'm a bit of a stickler for using. So I only use Games Workshop spray paints because it's what I've always used. But yeah, you can use any spray paint as long as it's a matte finish. Halford spray paint's perfectly fine. You can go to a range and pick up spray paint. But I've always used Games Workshop. The only one I put my foot down and I don't use the army painter, because every time I've used it, it always feels like it comes out really thick. I don't know if it was me or if it was the can, like I got a bad batch, but it always comes out quite thick, and I just got put off, which is a shame because I have a good selection of colours. That's fair enough. At some point, I will probably endeavour to get myself a form of airbrush, so I can prime at any time, because then I can just use airbrush primer and never have to worry about the weather or humidity or anything. You're supposed to do that. Yeah. I don't know what it is with their stuff. Like they put out good product. But just for some reason I've always had a bad run with their spray paints. Okay, so that's interesting. Is that just too small? So it appears with this guy, the hole in his chest that's supposed to receive the pins is just too small, so I don't know if that's a miscast on the mold. I'm just going to stick my knife in and give that a twist and just bore the hole out a little bit. Hopefully that helps, otherwise I'm going to have to get the drill out and just drill the hole bigger. There we go. This guy's got very few connection points, so I'm going to just wiggle you out, make sure the front plate fits, and then there we go, perfect. So yeah, if you get something that doesn't fit, don't worry. Take a step back, re-look at it. It's probably something silly. And if your miniatures are giving you stick, don't get frustrated with them, because you'll just end up making it worse. Just take a step back, come back to it later. I've got a dragon up there that I've been trying to paint for bloody ages, and I just can't get what I want on the mini to show up properly. So I'll do a little bit, get annoyed, put it down. I will get it done at some point. Cool. So that is now Watch Captain Helgrim all done. Let's get him stuck on his base. As I said, I'm not going to glue these guys to their bases because I'm going to make custom bases later on down the line. And there we go. Yeah, Green Stuff will put out a really good selection of products. One of my favorite things that they do are their rolling pins. So I got a selection of the rolling pins already. I need to pick up a couple more, especially those like the regular cobblestone ones. But I've got Temple. I don't know how well you'll be able to see that. So it is a rolling pin that allows you to make textured bases with Green Stuff or any other kind of modeling putty. They have loads and loads of those. Yeah, there's very minimal effort involved in putting these guys together so far. Nothing is overly complicated, which is probably good because this is meant to be a game for everyone to play. You know, they're supposed to be just push fit minis, but we glue all our stuff together. Yeah. So I've got, what have I got? I got 3 or 4. I've got Temple, Madness, which is a very Cthulhu-esque one. I've got Vampire, which is a vampire one. And I've got 4. And I got Runes, which is a kind of Viking Dwarven inspired one. And you can pick them up for £15, I want to say. Yeah, about that. They're not massively expensive, and once you have them for life. So this time, we're going to build Captain Amelda Braskov, because that's what Dave wanted, and I missed Sue wanting bad guys. Modeling putty, you know, it's not something you should ever really worry about. It's pliable for quite a while. So Green Stuff takes a good few hours to set properly, and it's got about like a 20-minute, half an hour work time before it starts getting really firm. If it's your first time starting out, I generally avoid what's it called? It's not Mod Podge, that's something entirely different. It is Sculptor Mold. It's a different form of like Green Stuff, but I find it's very crumbly. So it has a very different kind of texture to Green Stuff, whereas Green Stuff is like 2 bits of firm putty that you mix together, and it mixes better when it's warm. So if you want to have an easier life, whack it on the radiator for a little bit, and that makes your life infinitely easier to mix. It just mixes together like that. But yeah, you know, even if you're just using it to fill in a gap on a miniature, or you're going to use it on some bases. So this is the Madness base, or using the rolling pin, and it's a very Cthulhu-esque type thing. There we go. I got one with the actual icon on it. So yeah, very easy to do. All you do is put a good old dollop of putty on there, roll over it with a rolling pin, and you've got your own custom bases. And you can stick rubble or like some more texture on there, whack your mini on it, paint it up. Looks good. So I made a point of mentioning this in the unboxing video. This sprue is a pain because everything is everywhere. Nothing is next to each other. So Games Workshop, for the longest time recently anyway, have been making their sprues so you would have a character in this corner, a character here, a character there, so on and so forth. In this one, it looks like they've just thrown it on and to see what fits. It's nicely on there. Like they've got on a lot of stuff onto a little sprue, but it's just, it's not helpful. But fortunately, everything is numbered, so you can easily find them, and there'll be no confusion about what bit is what. Right, so that bit, that bit, that bit, that bit. And she too has a 32 round. Knife, that's what we want. One of the other things you can do, if you are particularly accident prone and cannot be trusted with knives, or you are a young child and shouldn't be using knives. I've been using a knife like this all my life, like during my hobbying time anyway, because this was what was available and this is what we could use. You can get from Games Workshop's hobbying line a mold line scraper, which it doesn't have the sharp edge of a knife, but it still will scrape off mold lines, and it's curved in such a way that allows you to get into those little nooks and crannies. And yeah, I bought one for my other half, because as previously stated, she is someone that cannot be trusted with someone like this. She'll just hurt herself. Those are her words, not mine, so I can't be blamed. But I've used the one. They're good, but this is what I've always used, so this is what I will continue to always use. Yeah, that is their intended purpose. I think it's more of a, as Games Workshop have moved away from metal miniatures into all plastics, they needed something that was sensible and usable for all their customers, rather than just their older clientele. Hey Ian, how's it going, man? Hope you're having a good day. I mean, I have heard many old horror stories of people while doing hobbying causing themselves injuries, to say the least. I've been bit, I cut a chunk into my finger and realized I had no plasters in the house, So a bit of tissue and electrical tape later, and I had a makeshift plaster. And then I headed down to the shops and bought some and sorted myself out. Thank you very much, mate. You've if you're just joining us, you've missed a whole stack of minis that we've already made. But I'm sure you'll get to see them at some point. One such horror story. There was an old manager in one of the Games Workshop stores. He's happily cleaning up some minis, and yeah, the knife slips out of his hand straight into his leg, and I kid you not, apparently the that knife was just stood upright. So yeah, be careful. Knives are sharp. Yeah, just be sensible. You know, it doesn't take a genius to understand the fact that knives are sharp and dangerous. So just be cautious. Um, you know, keep the pointy end away from you, and you should be good. Come on. Play along. Okay. my favourite mini out of this set so far we have actually already built, and that is Brutok Corpse Eater. There's this big ass ogre. So when it comes to playing this is my character. No questions. Right, we'll try that number again. It's like it was meant to be. Stick corner base. There we go. Captain Amelia Braskov, ready to cause some severe hurt. And she would be a great stand-in for any paladin type mini if you want to run a female paladin or a female warrior in plate. And if Games Workshop ever re-release the hero minis separately, I will probably pick up a separate one because her head comes separately, so you could change race or just give her a completely different head if you wanted. So yeah, kudos on Games Workshop for that one. Right. We are at the 2.5 hour mark. What do people want to do? Do people want to carry on hanging out with me and watching me build stuff and ramble on? If so, what do you want to see me build next? Do you want a good guy or a bad guy? I will let the people decide, as it were. Let's say rehydrate. Well, bad guy was the first one in. No worries, Dave. Thank you very much for dropping by. It was great chatting to you. Bad guys. Well, let's do a big one. Cool. Well, maybe next time, Alex. Tiff's already got herself in there. Gotta be quicker on the draw, my friend. So we'll go for this guy. Let's go for the Vargeisri. Bram Stoker's Dracula when he is in his Strigoi form. talking about vampires, has anyone ever played Vampire the Masquerade? I know a couple of people here have. Oh, good luck, Sue. I hope it's not too busy. And yeah, thank you for dropping by, and enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Have a good one. Yeah, this is a big beast. Too many times or not enough? If you haven't played it, I rate it. Give it a go. It's a very different game. Yeah, it's I think different. Yeah, different's probably the best way to describe it. It's not D&D. Yeah, I mean, I've picked up my copies of the rule book and the what was it? Yeah, Vampire Masquerade and Vampire Dark Ages, all ready for when I can see people again. We can play games. I am all ready for it. More bits. Yeah, well, I picked up both books. I don't know what I'm gonna need at any given time. Never know what might come, what might come about. I may even be able to actually play a game after all this is finished. That's fair enough. I've not played Pathfinder. I've looked at it with an intent of considering it, but at that same point, I was like, nah, I might as well just stick with 5e. That's what I've got. But I don't know how well you can see behind me, but that whole top shelf, that's all D&D. That next shelf, variety. That's things like Cthulhu, Vampire. I picked up the Infinity game. Conan. And other bits. Lots of books. Okay. I think we have all the bits we need here. Got our base. Let's get to it. Let's clean this guy up. Let's start with his face. Nosferatu is not my thing. It's all about Bruja. yeah, I picked up the Conan rule set a little while back. It's pretty good. It's a little bit tricky to figure out, but yeah, I'll get around to it. You may have also missed, Ian, that I now have my digital copies of the Kickstarter Hellboy game. So I have all the PDF versions of everything that's coming out. Or I believe everything, anyway. So yeah, watch this space for some videos on that at some point when I get the time to sit down and actually read it, which I'll do after this stream. I'll get to sit down with the cats, and we can all just sit and read. Yes, I'll also be jumping. This is the problem with games. There's so many coming out that I need to get, and I'm just getting them all. I don't care. So yeah, a friend of mine mentioned the Modifius Fallout game a couple of years back. He told me about it, and we were just waiting on it coming out, and it just went up on preview last week, I think it was. Or pre-order. It's come out on pre-order. So yeah, we're gonna go in on a Garden of Eden kit, and yeah, split it that way. Yeah, so far it's all based on the 5e rule set. So something that's very easy to pick up. I'm just trying to look through the finer details, like how you make a character and all that kind of thing. I imagine it's going to be a very similar format, but just to get those details down. All the games. I mean, like, you are more than welcome to buy those games and send them to me. I will graciously accept. I mean, I've still got space on the bookcase that needs filling. I can move the dice somewhere else. Yeah, one of my favorite YouTubers reviewed it, and after he reviewed it, I just went, "Oh, screw it, I'm having that." Seskorkowski, it's a guy in the States. He usually does things along the lines of Call of Cthulhu. I think he's just really good to listen to, and his way of doing things is quite refreshing. Quite like it. Quite like the way he does his videos. I mean, I haven't stopped buying dice. There may be a pandemic outside, but I need my shiny math rocks. They are my comfort buy. I feel I'm having a bad day. I go just buy some dice. All the shiny clicky clack math rocks. I mean, like, it sounds like a flex, but I don't know, Tiff. I might have to gather up my dice and be like, do you though? I mean, I've rolled them. Haven't rolled them with purpose, but I have definitely rolled them. What's his name? There's a guy I usually buy my dice from. Who's that? Yeah, there it is. What is it? Crit It. Critical Kit. Check this guy out. He does some really nice dice. Go there, buy his dice. Yeah, he does some fantastic dice. In no way is that a paid sponsorship or anything like that, or paid advertising. I just really like his stuff. Funny story, I met him at Bristol Concord Gaming Convention, not February just gone, February before, and that year we were set, me and my other half were set to go to London Comic Con to meet Critical Role, and he actively turned around to me and went, I will give you this flyer, if you can get this into Laura Bailey's hands, I will give you whatever set of dice you want. Challenge accepted. The world was against me. The pandemic happened. One day. But if you have a favourite set of dice, post them up on the Facebook page, and I will quite happily, lovingly gaze into those shiny, shiny math rocks. When you're buying dice, do you buy dice based on like color, if they fit your character, or do you just buy dice because you're addicted to them? I personally buy dice that I like the look of. I will use certain dice specifically for a character. So in one of my older games, I play a tiefling warlock rogue called Nephrus, and all my dice are purple. Some point we'll be able to get back to the table and play that campaign again. I do miss playing that character. Yeah, it would be nice. I'm in desperate need to get around the table, roll dice with friends. Don't want to do it online. Got to get around the table again. It's just not the same. So people have a favorite character concept that they usually like to go with, or do they have their default go-to? So like your dwarf cleric or your half orc barbarian. What is your de facto character, race, and class? Be in any system. Yeah, I know. We're all behaving. Just want to see my people. Want to roll dice with my people, be in the same room as my people. But soon, hopefully soon, we'll be able to all do this again. Right. There's an awful amount of plastic scraped off. Human wizard. High anti-warlock, eh? Have we missed a piece? Yes, we did. Should pay more attention. Nice. Rogue. So we got a few rogues. What kind of subclass of rogue do you play? You know, there's the assassin, mastermind, swashbuckler, you know, that type of thing. I quite like the swashbuckler. I think he's pretty sweet. He's got a fair few decent things, but they kind of like fizzle out at higher level. Cool, Tabaxi. Oh, Kobold. Oh, wow. Yeah. As I said, Swashbuckler was the is the subclass of rogue for me. Just being able to jump in, take a swing, and then you can disengage for free, and then run away. uh, yeah, well, hopefully at some point we'll be able to get to the table and try out all these character archetypes. Do it every day of the week. I mean, the other archetypes are cool, but nothing has more panache than a tiefling swashbuckling hexblade warlock with misty step. Yeah, I mean, I'll allow the goblin artillery artificer as long as you speak like a goblin throughout the entire game. Yeah, I played a brief amount with the what's it, the astral self monk, in a small game, or as the JoJo monk, as me and a friend referred to it as. Yeah, monks are cool. They're they've got a really steep progression. You know, they start off quite slow and then they just go straight up. But yeah, monks are cool. It's this is on the internet now, Ian. So I hope you're aware of what you've agreed to. Yeah, JoJo monk every day of the week. you're not playing monk properly unless you're like referring to JoJo or some form of Fist of the North Star reference. Order. What is it? Oreo Shinryu. Nani? Food? I need food. There we go. That's yes. Sorry, man. You joined us a bit late. So we are building the what's it? Warhammer Quest Curse City box at the moment, which came out just today. And I am currently putting together the Vargeistry. This guy. Putting this guy together. We've already built a whole selection of stuff. Yeah, let's move them out of the way. Just let people have a look, see what's been built so far. So far we have Radakar the Wolf, who is the big bad in this setting. I need to sort this light out. That looks a bit better. Is that better for you guys? So we have Radakar the Wolf, which is the big bad vampire of this setting. We have, what are these guys called again? They are the Kosakai Guard. With they have Bardishes, which is what these are called, or a Bardish. We have the Captain Holgrim. Watch Captain Holgrim, a skeletal big bad. And then we have Brutok Corpse Eater, which is my favourite hero character. And is it Imelda? Captain Imelda Braskov. So that is what we have built so far. There's like still half a dozen more character minis, a couple more bad guy minis, and a stack of regular minions. So I'm going to be doing this for a while. Yeah. But what are you up to, man? You know, you doing any hobbying today? Are you joining in? Or are you just just chilling out, listening to my soothing voice. This voice was made for radio. Johnson. Cool. Yeah, so you have to let us see it at some point. Here's a good one for everyone. While you are doing your miniature painting or making or even setting up a game, like trying to come up with ideas for your next campaign, what music do you listen to? I'd be interested to know. I mean, unfortunately, I can't listen to anything because I'm talking to everyone here. But normally, lots of metal, all the metal. I think it's a stigma. Comes with the beard. Well, that's just not on, sir. I'm not impressed. How dare you have the benefit of living with people that actually like to play the thing that you like? Grr. Oh, I'm glad to hear it, mate. Huh? That's pretty cool. Going to be difficult. Alright. Let's get a tool for this. So if you're finding things are being particularly difficult, a pressure clamp like these are great. Got more power to squish things than what you have. Just be careful. There we go. So as I was saying earlier about putting glue onto the pegs or into the holes, it traps air, and that's what had happened just then. Some glue had slipped in, but with a quick apply of brute force and pressure, problem solved. Folk metal. I approve of all these things. And when it comes to metal selections, it's usually just basic static X, 5-finger death punch. Yeah, oldies and goodies. Other toe. Yep, I thought the same thing when I was doing an unboxing the other week. I don't know if it'll replace. It might, because it has a war scroll in the box. But yeah, they could definitely do with a plastic Vargolf Mini, because that thing is hideous. There we go. Yeah, this one was probably one of the harder ones to put together in this set, just because all the bits are a little bit finicky on like placement. In fact, you have to build like a whole kind of body up. But yeah, I'll just let this dry for a moment and just have a look at the chat. Oh wow, we're like well into 3 hours. Cool. Well, what I will do is I will finish this guy up. And has anyone got any questions or anything? Any burning desires that you must know? Secret hobby arts? Do you want to know anything about like games I may have played, or you want to share some games that you may have played? Yeah, I mean like there is a very wolf theme with this set, as you have Radikar the wolf. And yeah, he's got a big floofy tail, which the Vargulf doesn't. He is very much so in the back country. But that is him done, and yeah, he towers over regular sized minis. So that's it for building today. I'll probably end up building the rest of this off camera because there's still an awful lot of it. But pictures will follow. Let's have a look. Do I think Mordheim is going to get a... do I think Mordheim is going to be adapted for this game mode? I don't think it will be adapted for this. There's a bunch of new minis coming out that I think Games Workshop would be just silly for not releasing a character card for. So there is the Witch Hunter duo, which is the father and daughter set. There is a father and daughter like duo for the Free People's Army in Age of Sigmar, which I think would be silly for them not to release a character card for them in this game. And we also have some new vampires coming out for Warhammer Underworld, their card game, next week, which I will be for sure picking up. My pre-order has been put through. I don't think they'll do anything Mordheim related for this game because Warhammer Quest is an already existing entity in their like kind of IP. Will they bring back Mordheim? Maybe when they do old Warhammer again. Because they're on about bringing back the rank and file type of play. So not Age of Sigmar, old school Warhammer, where you have rank and file infantry blocks. That might spark a new life into Mordheim. I mean, there's nothing to stop people playing Mordheim. It's still available. People can, get the rules online. I'm pretty sure it's a living rule book, and you can just use proxy minis. Like some of the minis in here are great for it. I would like to see Games Workshop put in the same kind of effort into Mordheim that they have with Necromunda, but I don't think that's going to come about until Old Warhammer has been revived when they do that. I hope that answers your question. What else we got? We should look for this guy. Yeah, he's awesome. I'm gonna watch Bram Stoker's Dracula again to get my head around on how I'm going to paint him. If you know the scene I'm on about, cool on you. I played a barbarian rogue werewolf once in 5e. Good times. Yeah, I can imagine. Claw attack, bonus action claw attack, all counts as a light finesse weapon, so you're getting your backstab ability through it. Rage, so you're getting your extra damage off that, and you're just beast mode, literally. I mean, it's all speculation. I might be completely wrong, and next week they'll go, we're releasing Mordheim to Games Workshop again. But I might be right. I don't know. I can only speculate. I've been in the hobby for forever. I would definitely like to see Mordheim get revamped, with new models, get the Necromunda treatment. But I'd like to see them do that with all the specialists, like old games like Battlefleet Gothic and heaven forbid Inquisitor. That'd be quite cool. Especially, Inquisitor would be awesome if they do the 54mm scale minis, and they're made of plastic. That'd be great. That'd be fucking so cool. I'd even be happy if they just released the rules for 28mm scale or 32mm scale, like this kind of size. That'd be great. Because you could use all the stuff you have for Necromunda and just have kooky warbands. I mean, you kind of got something going like that for Necromunda at the moment with the Venator gangs that you can make. You can make like a whole gang of like bounty hunters that everyone's very unique. You could do something like that. But yeah, I would love to see a. I would love to see old games brought back and given the love that they deserve. But it's bottom dollar. Is it going to make them money? It'll make them money for a little bit, but will it continue to make them money? Maybe. I mean, I never thought Necromunda was going to come back when they scrapped Necromunda, and took away all the minis. That was hard because I loved that game. I loved the aesthetic. And then when they took away the metal minis and the rulebook and everything, it was just like, oh well, what now? And then they brought in the plastic ones, and the plastic ones look freaking amazing, and they're just constantly churning stuff out for it. Yeah, who knows? Yeah, I love Bram Stoker's Dracula. There was a period of time where it was impossible to get hold of for some reason, and that was the time when I wanted it most. I assume by that, Alex, that you are off. I will catch you later, my friend. Enjoy the rest of your day, and happy house hunting. Barbarians are a bit OP for me. Didn't like the. Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, if you want to play hardcore barbarian, play Berserker Barbarian. I think it is. You go into a Berserker Rage as a bonus action, and when you come out of it, you gain exhaustion. So you can only gain so many points of exhaustion before you just die. Yeah, you know, it's the hardcore version of playing barbarian rather than the easy mode. I'm gonna play a totem bear barbarian and be immune, like be resistant to everything bar psychic damage. Yeah, I miss Inquisitor 2, Ben. I absolutely loved playing that game when that was about. I had a good selection of like their big metal minis when that was a thing. And that was the great thing about it. It was so easy to convert, and bits order was a thing back then. So you could go to the store, get the sheet, and start just filling it out from the book. And it's like, I want left arm from this guy, right arm from the same guy. I want the lower leg like bit from this dude, and I want this guy's weapons. It was amazing. It was such a good time. That kind of thing will never come back, sadly. Since Games Workshop's moved away from making stuff out of white metal, those days will never come back. But we have 3D printing now, so, and the plastic is so much better nowadays that if they did do it, I would like to imagine they'll just do that kind of stuff on a sprue. And maybe supplement bits with through Forge World, like what they do with Necromunda at the moment, where they have the you buy your gang in plastic from Games Workshop, and then if you want like some of the special, like bigger, badder weapons, you buy them through Forge World in their packs. I don't actually play Warhammer, but I have basically Organization 1. Yeah. I've not properly played a game. I've not played 40k in years, like forever. I like the game. I have nothing against the game. I just never got the time. I've got stacks of armies in the cabinet behind me. But yeah, I could just never find the time to juggle playing something that big and real life and painting miniatures and doing it. This is the part of the hobby I like most, is doing the hobby aspect rather than the playing aspect. I still strive to play, but this is the bit I like most. Yeah, Bits Order was great. The good thing was, if you were a member of staff, you could order bits by weight, so it turned your bits orders into like pennies. Like you could pick up a rhino for like £6 or something. I don't know. But yeah. Well, if no one else has anything else they'd like to ask, or unless people are frantically typing to get questions across, probably going to call that a day, guys. You know, this has been fun. This has been my first ever live stream. It took a little while to get into the feel of it, but you know, that is the nature of things. I hope you guys enjoyed it more than anything. What did we get? We got like a high of 10 people watching, which is, that's pretty cool. I appreciate everyone that came along and sat here and watched me build minis and ramble about stuff. Yeah, if you would like to do me a solid, and if you aren't already a subscriber to my channel, please hit that subscribe button, like the heck out of this, and check out the rest of my videos. I have a whole bunch of painting tutorials, an unboxing video for Curse City Warhammer Quest. Check it out, leave a comment, let me know what you think. I would love to hear your feedback. I strive to respond to everyone, and I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day. Roll out.